Well, I welcome the opportunity to talk about preaching Christ from Genesis to Revelation. It's a new course that I taught at Beeson and had 9 students. And one of the things I tried to impress upon them was I'm not giving them so much information about the Bible as an intuition, working with their imagination as to how to see the whole counsel of God. Years ago, I developed a series of messages in my home church back in San Diego when I was a pastor there. Going from Genesis to Malachi, I preached through the entire Old Testament. And that was inspired by a trip to West Africa, to Ghana. I was on board the plane going over to do a week of pastoral training with about 40 Ghanaian pastors. And I had all my material that was from the pastoral epistles. And as we were crossing the ocean, I was thinking more and more how cultural my perspectives were and getting nervous about that. We landed in Ghana and my family was with me. We visited one of the Muslim chiefs of the village that had given land for the church to be built on and for this training center to be developed. And I met that day in meeting the chief, the second in command, the tribal linguist, an old wiry man in his 80s who was responsible for telling the tribal story. And somehow that had a real impact on my thinking, because pastors are God's linguists, God's tribal poets, as it were, telling the story. So I scrapped my epistle material and went for moving from Genesis to Revelation in telling that whole counsel of God's story. And I knew I could do it a lot better after having done it, that it needed to be done better. But it opened my eyes to kind of that stay in the story, that drama of gospel scripture, and unfolding that whole account. And that's sort of changed the way I've taught, both in preaching and now in teaching preaching and pastoral theology, how important it is to have that drama of salvation history. The pastors in Ghana seem to appreciate it, and it's something that I've been working on ever since.